I'm always telling you to have a good tax-friendly residence permit in your back pocket. You never know when you could need it. And now, just owning a boat could qualify you for a new golden visa that gives you total flexibility. I've got the details. Abu Dhabi, the emirate in the UAE, has launched a Super Yacht Golden Visa. And if you are the lucky owner of one of said super yachts, you will be entitled to a residence permit in the UAE. I'm going to break down the details of how this works. I'm going to talk about other opportunities in the UAE if you don't own a super yacht. And we're going to talk about other places in the world where you can take your boat and you can live with a residence permit in a very tax-friendly way. We've had a lot of clients over the years who enjoy sailing. They own catamarans. Some of them do own yachts. Here's the deal in Abu Dhabi. They've launched the Golden Key Initiative, Key as in Q-U-A-Y. Its latest addition to the UAE Golden Visa program, creating a specialized pathway for a specific niche of high net worth individuals, owners of 40-meter or long super yachts. This is an article from EME. The Department of Culture and Tourism, Abu Dhabi, and the Abu Dhabi Investment Office and Yas Marina have created the Golden Key Initiative, offering a 10-year renewable residence permit through official nominations by Yas Marina and the government. And so basically what they want to do is they want to become a world-class destination. This is what I love about countries like the UAE, is they realize the world is competitive now, and so this is just the latest niche they're targeting. We want to be the place where people with yachts come. That's going to help our economy. We're working right now on our luxury living series, Live Like a King. We're going to do that in Montenegro this summer. One of the things that I loved about Montenegro, small country, wants to put itself on the map. When Port of Montenegro, the beautiful yacht club, opened, they started promoting the country's incentive on no tax for yacht fuel. And so, hey, here's these wealthy people. They're going to spend a lot of money. They're cruising around Europe. Let's have them come to our country they might not come to and fuel up. And it worked pretty well. They have a really nice scene there. Now, that's different from what you're seeing in the UK and the US and all the other legacy brand countries where the attitude is, when you don't want to pay their ridiculous taxes, don't let the door hit you on the way out. What I love about these smaller and up-and-coming places is they realize they have to be competitive. And so now what Abu Dhabi is saying, hey, listen, if we can get enough of the people with 40-meter long, and that's about 125 feet for Americans, if we can get people with these super yachts to come to our country, they're going to bring their money and spend it here. They're going to eat at nice restaurants. They're going to employ people, and we can keep our economy going. Like, they're going to spend their money. They're going to go shopping. They're going to do all sorts of things. And maybe they'll realize what I've realized, which is when you live in some of these places, life is pretty good outside of your home country. I'm a lot happier where I live now than when I lived in the United States, where I'm from. And so to me, what have I told you? If you get a residence permit somewhere, that's a first step towards, you go and check it out, you start to look around, and you're like, you know what, actually isn't so bad, this actually isn't so scary, I could see us living here. Oh, there's a school, honey, our kids can go to school here, they're not going to be destitute bums. Oh, this is actually pretty nice. And you kind of move your way towards a better life. So the UAE wants people like this to come there, and it's exactly what I've told you for years. You watching this, to have at least one residence permit. You don't have to live in that country. And if you get this golden visa, you are not going to have to live in the UAE, but you have the ability to live in the UAE for 10 years. And so you can go and you can get your yacht, and you will have a 10-year residence permit that you can live in a country that's tax-friendly for business, tax-free for individuals. I like what this one guy said. He said, they let golden visa holders come and spend their money. When I tell you the culture of countries like the US is going in the wrong direction, this is what I mean. It's hard to go to the US and spend money for the average person. If you have a good passport, you got to fill out ESTA. It's worse than most visas. If you don't have a good passport, it's a laborious process to go, and it's just not that pleasant to go and spend money. No, we don't need these people. Okay, great. Someone else will take them, and they're going to build their country. The asset-based pathway with the Super Yacht Visa will introduce high net worth individuals to the Emirates' exceptional investment opportunities and thriving business ecosystem, they say. So again, once you take your yacht there, you start looking around. Whether you have a yacht or not, the same principle applies. So we will have more details on this in the days, weeks, months to come. This is just the latest golden visa that the UAE has to offer. They've been rolling out more and more of them. You can make a 2-year fixed bank deposit. You can buy real estate. You can start a company. You can do any number of things, and you can get a residence permit. Now, the residence permit there is generally not going to lead to citizenship. You've seen some folks like Kevin O'Leary been given citizenship on an exceptional basis in the UAE, but this is a tax-friendly residence permit. It's also a place that if you think there's going to be social unrest where you live, which increasingly we're seeing Westerners think that, this is a place that's pretty calm, pretty safe, and you can have that in your back pocket. And so you don't have to buy the super yacht, but that's just the latest thing. By the way, this strengthens the case for a place like that. I mean, one of the reasons people say, oh, you got to stay in the US, Andrew, why don't you want to stay in the US? We have all the rich people. Well, if all the super yacht owners from all around the world are going to be going to Abu Dhabi for their free golden visa, quite frankly, I'd like to go there because Nomad Capitalist is a business that we help clients from all around the world. We gladly help Americans. We've got a lot of people from the UK leaving right now. People are still living in Canada, Australia, but we have a markedly increased number of clients from all around the world because we decided we wanted to do that. And so that's the kind of cross-section of folks that you're going to find in the UAE. I don't want to run a business that just targets people in one country because what happens when something happens in that one country? I'm out of business. I want to have a truly diversified business. The same, I want to have diversified finances. And so all these things go together. Whether you get the specific golden visa or not, this is the kind of thing you're looking for in a golden visa. Buy a super yacht, take it to Abu Dhabi, get a golden visa, but if you don't, there's other ways to do it. They even have things for creative professionals. Dubai is now opening a program for content creators. So lots of things going on. And there's countries like this. I mean, Malaysia and Panama are two that come to mind where there's just a lot of different kinds of residence programs. What does that tell you? It means they're very open to immigration. What do those countries all have in common? They're tax friendly. Let's talk about other places you can take your boat. If you enjoy sailing, if you have a yacht, Montenegro, I mentioned, you buy a property, you get a residence permit. We are going to be filming this summer our Live Like a King series in Montenegro. You can buy any property. Now you have to be able to fit there. If you want like 5 residence permits, you can't buy a shoebox. They are looking at that now, whereas they weren't maybe 5-6 years ago. Buy a property in Montenegro, get residence. Citizenship is pretty tough to get. I would not bank on that. And the Citizenship by Investment program has ended. But you can still get a residence permit in tax-friendly Montenegro. If you don't live there a chunk of the year, they probably won't renew it. So it's an option you can kind of either keep applying for, or if you do live there, keep renewing. Oman. We released our Live Like a King episode in Oman. Buy a property or buy government bonds, get residence. One of the properties we saw in Live Like a King was the Trump International property in Oman, and that includes a yacht club. Oman is a place that, unlike other places in the Gulf, unlike Dubai, unlike Abu Dhabi, they don't have skyscrapers. They're keeping it pretty traditional, but their country has become exceptionally wealthy. Some of the nicest and kindest people you'll ever meet anywhere in the world. Definitely less glam, less glitz than the UAE next door, but they are trying to attract high-value tourism. They don't want, every Bob, Joe, and Harry coming through. They're looking for people who enjoy the culture that they have to offer, and they're looking for high-value tourism. I mean, go and watch Live Like a King Oman, and you'll see the guys talking about high-value tourism. You'll see what it looks like. But, for example, Trump International in Oman, they're building a big yacht club. And that's the one reason why I bought a property in Montenegro. It was a lifestyle investment, and it facilitated perhaps a residence permit. More and more countries are going to be competing for yacht clubs and for everything else. So, I want stuff where I can be somewhat nimble. If I like the place and I want to buy the property and I'm not super concerned whether it goes up in value or not, that could be a good way to get a residence permit. But what you're seeing is more and more countries want to enter this competitive phase where they're getting the rich people to move to their countries. And again, if you live in a Western legacy brand country, they don't want rich people. They're literally pushing them out and saying good riddance. Great, they're going to Oman, they're going to the UAE, they're going to Montenegro. Where else are they going? Bahamas. Buy a property, get a residence permit. Tax-free Bahamas. We've had a couple of clients who have wanted to move to the Bahamas. Obviously pretty close to the US if that's the legacy brand country in particular that you were fleeing. The Turks and Caicos, British overseas territory. You can get a temporary residence from 1 to 3 years for investing $500,000 in property on the main island. You can get permanent residence for investing $1 million in the main island or as little as $300,000 elsewhere. The Cayman Islands, another British overseas territory. Both of these you could lead towards citizenship, by the way. They've got a special class of citizenship there. And then you can get a UK passport after that if you want. Turks and Caicos, but also the Cayman Islands. You can either move your company there and get that tax-free, or you can just buy a property and you get a residence permit. And you can work towards a passport there. So those are places where people who have boats like to go. Certainly you can take a boat in a number of places. I mean, we've had people who move to Southeast Asia, they get a boat in Thailand, they get a boat in Malaysia. Those countries have straightforward residence permits that you can get, and they have a certain tax friendliness there as well. Every country I mentioned, tax-free or tax-friendly. And what are they doing? They're opening their doors. Please bring your boats. What we're seeing is we're seeing a real change in the way the world is going. Countries that think that whatever they do, that you're going to stay there, are saying, yeah, we're going to make it difficult. Pay more tax, you can't have nice stuff, the society's turning against you, and the rest of the world, outside of those handful of countries, the rest of the world is, please bring your boat. Now, I get you're not going to take your boat to Somalia, perhaps not to Sri Lanka or Cambodia. Those might be good places to invest, some of them. I mean, I've done pretty well in Cambodia, but you're not going to take your boat there at least yet. Maybe 10 years from now you will. But these places, all highly livable. They want your money, they want you to go there, and they're happy to let you keep your money if you go and support their economy. So the next time you say, hey, everywhere's different, why bother leaving my legacy brand country? Well, there's just a handful of places just for boat owners that want you to come there. And beyond boats, there's plenty of countries that want you for other reasons.